Bitching, arrogant, throwing fits, ripping shit, tearing it, imperative. Then I'm killing this mic no matter where I live. These derelict rappers acting the fool, this embarrassing is flagrant. That's the nature of this entertainment, and we can't even change it. Guilty before arraignment, now the system tainted. But when we speak, they all laugh at us. And y'all wonder why I'm lacking trust. Try to fight a giant with attorneys that can back them up. That church versus science, both sides start acting up. I'm late on my assignment, hopping up a mile high, climbing, obviously never silent. New alignment, I'm defined, can I describe it? Used to describe it as the young graffiti artist. Before the beard, I always got carded. At every bar, even though my bar's been the hardest. The scars on my face said I ain't always been the smartest, but I'll show you where my heart is. I said I'll show you where my heart is. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeves, even if the beat stops, my soul will not leave. If I never stood tall, nobody will ever see. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve, I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve, even if the beat stops, my soul will not leave. If I never stood tall, nobody will ever see. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve, I can show you where my...
The type of guy that would ride with the breeze. I'm higher than most people, I'm cold and icicle freeze. I'm liking to Mike Tyson, I'm a bison, a beast. I'm high like Jamaica, like right by the beach. My pops is from a spot where they're fighting for peace. 8 years old, out there watching people fight in the streets. All these sirens only make the violence increase. Yeah, we're still not loving police. It's that bright young American, nice, dumb, arrogant. Tight on a mic, but he might need a therapist. Heart full of kerosene, head full of fairy tales. Said that you're my homie, you don't know me, but I know you very well. Roll back on some West Coast shit. This whole track is wetter than your dress code kiss. About to hit the track, running on some retrofit. It gets so lit, I guess so, bitch, now let's go.
I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve, even if the beat stops, my soul will not leave. If I never stood tall, nobody will.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a wonderful Tuesday night, February 14th. Nothing else big going on today other than our show, so I expect everybody's faces to be ready. Pinky, how you doing, my guy?
I am all right, my friend. It's been a day. It's been a day.
In a day. I will agree with that, sir.
I just got done at the gym. Had my daughter had jiu-jitsu. I was listening to the 5280 podcast that comes on right before us.
Nice.
Those guys were having a good time chopping it up. Good day.
I like it. Well, let's see if we can have ourselves a good time here chopping it up a little bit. Cheers, my good man. Always a pleasure. We
this one's brought to you by the Breckenridge Broncos Blue. I've got the orange with me as well. I'm going to taste test it up a little bit. It's been a little while since I've had both. So I think I like the orange a little bit better because I think it is a little bit sweeter. But I'm going to give this one a try and see how it turns out. I've been crushing some Four Roses. I got. I just been
that stuff's so good. It's hard not to crush it.
Oh, I try to keep these for the pod, but man, good stuff.
Yeah. It's tough to keep good stuff around sometimes. I get it.
It is.
So I figure, with us wanting to talk some NBA finally, and obviously rehashing the Super Bowl. Figure we don't have a lot of time for nonsense because there's a lot to kind of get through here with just those two topics. And I had a feeling you wanted to probably lightly discuss the UFC fights this week before we jump into stuff. Kind of controversial. I mean, even I will say it's worth discussing.
I did not watch the fight. I just saw it on replay. I didn't watch it live.
Okay.
So So obviously,
everything I've heard is that somebody else should have won.
Well, it all depends on how you score the fight. Obviously, the judges, whatever. Islam, Makachev, I can't say it right. Was fighting Volkanovski, and there was champ on champ. Pound for pound, number one, number two best fighters in the world. Super fight. And it did not disappoint. Like, it was a really good fight. what people have an issue with, and I have an issue with it, if you take a guy to the ground and you do literally nothing with the takedown, I don't know if you should get points for taking him down.
You shouldn't. That's one of
it's
my,
not-
you know me, it's one of my biggest beefs with the UFC is the guys who just do that.
If it doesn't turn into offensive production, then I don't see it as a, I don't think it should count. And that's pretty much what he did is he took him down. And Volkanovski hit him more off of his back than the damage he took. Like, that's crazy. Like, he was literally on, Volkanovski was on his back the whole time, and he was just punching the guy from behind, just punching him. And
Well, what's even crazier is UFC came out today, and they still have Volkanovski as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in their rankings. The company has him after a loss as still the #1 pound-for-pound. So that says a lot about the scoring, I think.
He did a lot of damage to Islam, and he did legitimately won 2 rounds. And then there was a round that is kind of like some people gave it to Volkanovski, some people gave it to Islam. It's that one round. Now, when the judges scored it, like, it was unanimous. It wasn't even like a split decision. It was unanimous for Islam. Most people I saw commenting did not see it that way. And then when I rewatched it, I can just see from the fact that he took him. If you judge every takedown, sure. But
yeah, that's so dumb. Like, judging a takedown as a point. Like, this isn't wrestling. This isn't we're trying to get the guy on the mat. No, we're trying to get the guy to tap out or go blind.
Well, if you take him down and you're trying to advance your position, I'm going to give you points for that. I will. Even if you did a lot of damage, you were still trying to advance position.
You got to do something with it. You can't just lay on the guy.
He literally just laid. And
I know.
I have an issue with that. Like, I've always had an issue with the wrestlers now are so good. Most of the jiu-jitsu guys are so good, but the jiu-jitsu guys are always working to get you into a position. Like, they never stop. Some of the wrestlers will take you down and lay on you a little bit. And if you're laying on the guy and you're putting your forearm right in his face, or you're
do something.
Punches, I'm okay with that. Like, I'll give you credit for that. But if you don't even touch the guy, I can't give you any points there.
There's a certain former light heavyweight champ that I think, or middleweight champ, I should say, that was notorious for that. And everybody said he was so good and so great. And I feel like had he stayed in the UFC and not retired, his ass would have gotten handed to him multiple times. I never thought he was that good. I thought he just got rewarded for being a great wrestler. And that's not what the UFC is supposed to be.
Who are you talking about?
You don't know? Retired. Now he's retired from coaching as well. He said he's just done with UFC altogether, apparently.
Khabib did quite a bit of damage when he took him down. He's no Daniel Cormier.
Dude, even when he took down Conor and said he destroyed him, Conor didn't look that bad after the fight. He looked bad, but he didn't look that bad. He looked like he could have kept going, Like, there's some dudes who put you on the ground, and after they're done doing their damage, you're not walking away. You know what I mean? Like, the old school Tito Ortiz type of ground and pound, that I can watch. I can't even say his name now. I'm going to tongue-tie myself. Nurmagomedov. He pretty much just laid on dudes. He took him down and then would lay on them. That was pretty much his MO, as far as I'm concerned. And I thought it was boring and tired.
That's one way to call it. The Khabib fights I watched, he was pretty active with his wrestling and his aggression, his ground and pound. So I have different views, but there were some times there were some times that he'd lay on you. So
give me some Iceman. Give me some Iceman fights and I'll be a happy man.
Oh, it'll be a long time before we see guys like that.
Yeah,
that was good stuff, man. That's some
Just
good
come and
stuff.
stand in front of me, and I'm going to destroy you. You're not going to take me down because my fists are faster than you. Let me see that again.
So, big fights coming up in the next couple months. I mean, they're just the whole year is stacked with fights so far. Again, takes attention away from Dana White, which is what he wants.
Absolutely.
So,
all right. Well, that's enough UFC. A little controversial, but I think it's funny that the own company has the loser of that fight is still the number one pound for pound.
Yeah,
I think that says a lot about what happened.
The rest of the card was pretty good, from what I understand. So it was a pretty good fight. Just fight card overall. I just I don't remember what I was doing Saturday night. I wasn't watching that. I know that. Fair. I didn't want to pay, $70, $80 for it this time. So
no, thank you.
What else you got?
I mean, there's always other stuff we could discuss, but I think there's plenty of NBA and NFL to discuss here this evening that we can go ahead and move that needle in the direction of those two things.
Yeah, buddy, I'm watching some college basketball scores and NBA scores right now.
I like it.
Somehow my Jayhawks are losing to the Okie Cowboys right now.
Yeah, well, the Blue Jays just lost to the Friars, unfortunately. Creighton Blue Jays, Creighton Blue Jays just lost to the Providence Friars. So that's double overtime. Pretty solid game. It's like, I think Creighton's like 18 or 17th in the nation. Friars are top 25. They're like 23 or 24, somewhere in there. So, that Big East is still got some competition in it. Still some good teams. Big 12 is dominant this year, insanely dominant. You got Alabama sitting at number 1. You got Blue Bloods of Duke, Kentucky, and North Carolina not even ranked. It's a pretty crazy college basketball season. And we're getting up to the point now where, 2 weeks from now, we'll start the conference tournaments, and then you're going to be rolling right into the NCAA tourney. So I'll definitely be talking about that as conference tourneys start picking up here. We'll look at that, start looking at some of those automatic bids in the tourney and things of that nature for sure. But right now, the top dog in basketball is that top division, the NBA. And this last week was fun. Trade deadline's always fun in the NBA, probably more so than any other sport because you usually get some bigger names that move around. And even if you don't get big names, you still get a lot of activity with some of those, call them mid-market guys, if you will, that help fill benches and roster spots and things of that nature. So there were some big moves in the NBA this year, Pinky. Some big moves. I think the easiest way to do this is kind of talk chronologically, because some of these moves that are done chronologically as we talk about them, when we get to the big ones, you'll see how those kind of smaller little ones led up to the possibilities of these bigger ones happening. And then we'll talk a little NBA because All-Star Weekend's coming up this weekend, and then we got the second half of the season and things of that nature. So to get it started, I'm not going to talk every trade move. That's ridiculous. That would be way too much. But I think there are some highlights here, and I hate giving the Lakers props. I really do. But they made some nice moves at the deadline and a couple days before. Their first move, they got Rua Hachimura from Washington. Washington. Yeah, the Wizards. They sent Kendrick Nunn in a couple seconds to get Rue. I thought that was a great move. They didn't really lose anything. Second-round picks, in my opinion, in the NBA are worthless. Granted, you can get a Jokic in the second round, so there are those diamonds in the rough every so often. But for the most part, you can toss second-round picks like, whatever you want to call them, and it doesn't matter in the NBA. So to give up Kendrick Nunn, who rotational player, but he wasn't that D&3 kind of guy per se like Rue is. So that was a great move to grab Hachimura. Well done by the Lakers, but that move still left them out of playoffs. They weren't going to do anything. So, nice addition, but didn't move the needle. That was January 23rd. So that was a couple weeks before the trade deadline. Lakers made that move, and you'll see why That move so far above the trade deadline really paid off for him in the end here in a moment. The big trade that happened before the trade deadline was Kyrie being Kyrie and the Nets saying, "Yep, that's about enough of that. We're good. We're done." So they shipped him, sent him over to Dallas to play next to Luka Doncic, which I've already talked about. We had quite a discussion on that. Not quite sure what my guy Mark Cuban was doing there, but I will say, and I said this before, talent-wise, I could see how those two can play together, and it would be really nice as long as Kyrie's willing to defer to Luka. That's kind of what it looks like is happening these first couple of games they played together. And they also have Kyrie playing when Luka's not in the game. So they're kind of offsetting their minutes too and letting Kyrie run with that second unit, which is smart. Long term, I don't see it being a danger to anybody's title contentions, but they could definitely make some noise with some of the other talent they have on that team. Christian Wood and Tim Hardaway Jr. and some of these other guys.
They needed KD instead of Kyrie.
That would have been a better fit. I agree. That seems like it would have been a much better fit. And I don't think Kyrie stays in Dallas long term. I don't think he signs a contract extension with them in the offseason. So they gave up quite a bit to push their chips all in this season. That I don't like. And again, Kyrie, talent-wise, on the basketball court, all-time good. Kyrie is a whole package as an NBA player. Wouldn't want him anywhere near my team. That's what's so crazy about Kyrie. But Dallas got him. Like I said, they had to give up quite a bit. They had to give up Spencer Dinwiddie. They had to give up Dorian Finney-Smith, a first round, and 2 future seconds. I mean, they had to give up quite a bit.
If Kyrie cared about anybody other than himself, that dude would absolutely be considered a top 5 player, like no doubt.
Man, and that's what's crazy is I don't like saying he doesn't care about anybody but himself because he's, by all accounts, he's a good dude and he does a lot of great things for the communities that he wants to support.
On the court. He just thinks he's better than everybody else, I think. He really thinks he's always the smartest guy in the room. Off the court, I'm sure he's a nice guy. He's kind of crazy. I think he's a flat earther.
He is.
I think.
Yeah, among some other conspiracies that let's not go down that road. But I see what you're saying. On the court, he only thinks about himself. I could see that. I could definitely see that. I still love that Joe Tsai, the owner of the Nets, said, "I'll fucking trade you. You're just not going to the Lakers." And the Lakers had the best offer. Flat out had the best offer. So that was crazy. So, that was the first real big deal. That was February, I want to say 6, a couple days before the trade deadline. Then as the trade deadline rolls in, all of a sudden February 9th hits and you go, "Oh, they did what?" Because the Lakers, and like I said, I hate giving them props, but how they pulled this deal off is miraculous. And I know how they did it, and I'll explain it here in a second because Danny Ainge is a goddamn genius, and he's all about that expiring contract and picks and build. We'll get there. But the Lakers, they trade Westbrook. They trade Juan Toscano-Anderson. They trade 2 future first rounds, I believe. This is saying 1. I thought it was 2, but this one says 1 and then a bunch of second-round picks. Who cares about the seconds? So Westbrook, Toscano, and a 2027 first that's lightly protected. I believe it's only top 3 protected. So if it falls outside the top 3, Jazz get a nice pick there. It's a 3-team deal, so there's some moving parts here. The Timberwolves get Mike Conley from the Jazz and Nickel Alexander-Walker. Doesn't matter. They get a second-round pick swap with the Lakers, and then they get 2 seconds from the Jazz. Really, this was about the Timberwolves wanting to move on from the pieces that the Lakers got. And the fact that they traded these pieces to the Lakers is wild to me because this is a huge get for the Lakers. And honestly, these 3 pieces, along with the Ryu Hachimura trade, now put the Lakers very solidly in the middle of the Western Pack with LeBron James if AD is healthy. Now, that's a big if. Mr. Street Clothes himself is going to have to show up and play on a basketball court, which is asking a lot. But if he does, this very much puts the Lakers right in the middle of the pack because they acquire back a guy they originally drafted number 2 overall about 5 years ago in D'Angelo Russell. That's a big get right now. They get Malik Beasley, former Nugget. Anybody that's familiar with the Nuggets would remember Malik Beasley. Great off the bench, kind of a streaky scorer, can play some defense, solid bench guy, and gives you great minutes. Then they also get another former Nugget, Jared Vanderbilt. Didn't quite live up to potential per se that people had him at coming out of Kentucky, but a solid rotational guy, which is exactly what the Lakers needed, and they get guys who can shoot. All 3 of these guys can shoot. So now you put that with LeBron and AD. Lakers did good, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they were able to do that. Now,
it might not help them too much, though.
I fully believe it puts them right in the middle of the pack. And depending on how well LeBron and AD play, they can push that Western top end down.
You know AD is not finishing the season, bro.
I hope not, because then they don't have a shot at going anywhere. But if AD is healthy with these pieces, much as I don't want to say it, people be a little worried about the Lakers now. This is where it all really comes into play. The Timberwolves didn't want to deal with D'Angelo Russell anymore for whatever reason. They thought Mike Conley was a better point guard for them with what they had there, with the pieces they put together over the last couple of seasons, and Karl-Anthony Towns, that terrible Rudy Gobert trade, and then Anthony Edwards, who's a beast. Mike Conley, they think, fits better into that than D'Angelo Russell did. Okay, fine. Wolves, you give up some, you get a Hall of very good point guard back. Conley won't get into the Hall of Fame, but he is a solid point guard. One of the best of this era, in my opinion. He really is. So that puts Timberwolves in a position they feel to be better able to compete come that playoff time. Good for them. You know, I think it's half dozen the other for the Timberwolves. I personally don't like to trade. I would have rather kept that talent that they had. But if you can't get the talent to work, go get a solid floor general and you can't lose. So even wash, right? What's funny is it's an even wash for the Lakers too, in my opinion. And when I say even wash, that sounds kind of crazy because I think it gives them better playoff chances. But they did have to get rid of that first, so they don't have a lot of future assets anymore. That's a lot of people on this roster you're going to have to pay. So you're going to take some hits there with the luxury tax and things of that nature. But overall, it was a great move for the Lakers to be competitive. The real interesting one here, though, is Danny Ainge and the Jazz. Because the way Danny Ainge made these moves, acquired another first-round pick, which he's probably got like 30-something now. It's crazy. Over the next 5 years, the dude's got so many draft picks. It's crazy. But he also snagged Russell Westbrook, which I think they'll buy him out probably. And if you're not familiar with NBA buyouts, this is what happens. Guys get traded so that somebody can dump that money off their books. Somebody else will take that money on their books. Now, Russell Wilson's an expiring contract. So you can almost think of that as like dead money with the NFL, where it's on your books. It doesn't matter. The kicker is NBA loves this because his contract ends after the season. So that frees up all of that salary cap for them going into next year's free agency and the draft with all their draft picks and the salary cap that they'll have available now. Utah's going to be prime position to make some really great moves. Danny Ainge is the reason the Celtics are where they are right now. So if you like what the Celtics are and you like where they've come up and where they're at now, Danny Ainge was the architect. So pay very close attention to what he does now in Utah with nice big salary cap next year and open money to spend and all these draft picks. So Danny Ainge is making moves in Utah. And somehow they're winning. Not like they're going to go Western Conference Finals or anything, but people thought they were going to be cellar dwellers, and they are not.
Oh, I was pretty sure they'd be dog shit. Now, without Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. Like
the casual fan could have easily seen that. Lauri Markkanen's a nice piece. And he's really coming out this year. Watch him. He'll be in the three-point contest this week. You can get a little taste of who this guy is because you're not going to get any other taste with him playing in Utah. But watch him. Solid dude. I think this is his 5th or 6th year in the league. He's out of Eastern Europe. Good dude. solid, and he is having his best year. He's kind of breaking out this year. So, Utah's got some other pieces they can work with, and we'll see what they do. So that was the 3-team deal that the Lakers, they got what they needed, unfortunately. The next kind of sneaky deal, and it's not huge in the sense that the best team in the league didn't go out and get a marquee piece. They didn't get a flashy trade, but they got something that shores up their bench, was exactly what they needed. The kicker is this trade that I'm talking about also, again, helped the Lakers get more competitive. So that's why I'm not a big fan of this trade, because it turned out to be a trade that really helps the Lakers in the long run. This is a Nuggets trade with the Lakers and the Magic. So Nuggets get Thomas Bryant, a solid backup center, big body, which is exactly what they need to fill minutes for Jokic. Thomas Bryant has shown some potential too. He's shown some squirreliness too, so don't get me wrong. This is a very hit or miss. This guy could be a huge get, and he could really develop into a solid player. He could also be a burnout real quick by, this time next year. So kind of hard to say, but he's shown some really great flashes. I think it's a great move for the Nuggets to solidify their bench and that front court, which they desperately need going into the postseason. And I apologize. I forgot this is a 14.
Thomas did score 10 points in his first game with the Nuggets. So,
like I said, it's a good move. It's gonna be interesting to see how he develops, especially behind Jokic. The Nuggets sent Bones Highland to the Clippers. This is why I hate this deal for the Nuggets. Whatever they did, however they chose to use Bones this year, it was a huge mistake. Bones got fed up with it. He wanted out. He didn't like playing alongside Jamal Murray for some reason. I blame this all on Mike Malone. And this has been a criticism I've had of him in the past, and I continue to have it. He has a problem recognizing how to play all his talent when he has it. And he also does not like to play young talent. You got to earn minutes as a rookie, second, third-year guy with Mike Malone for whatever reason. And Bones could have been running that second unit from the start of the season. He should have been running that second unit, and he should have been the dude, and he wasn't.
And he did to start with, and then he was taking way too many shots and not hitting them. He was too cavalier with the ball. And the complete opposite for Christian Braun, who's a rookie, who's been steady and has earned more and more minutes. And I just think Bones' attitude is what got him in that doghouse, man. And his first thing, and again, this is where immature guy. His first thing when he gets to LA is just dogging the Nuggets.
I'd have said it too, based on the way they handled him this year. He should have been a major piece of that rotation.
Be a bigger man.
Fine. You can say that all you want. The fact that Braun was getting more minutes than Bones is ridiculous. The ceilings of the two are incomparable. Bones' ceiling is the heavens, where Braun's ceiling is as far up as he can reach. That's it. Those are their ceilings. Their floors are the exact same. If you put Bones in the same positions you put Braun, Bones would have succeeded him easily. The problem is you were asking Bones to do more than you were asking Braun to do. And then when it didn't work out, or he had some struggles, you didn't allow those growing pains to occur. You just sat his ass down and then completely benched him and took away all his minutes. So I think it was a huge mistake to let Bones go.
I've got other issues with Malone, but things just got really bad, man. And sometimes it's addition by subtraction in some cases.
It can be. I won't disagree with that. And there's a move coming up that hasn't been announced yet, but that I and my brother and I have both talked about a lot, that we think if it works out and it happens, the Bones leaving the Nuggets won't have any impact if this other move comes up. And I'll talk about it at the end.
It might have long-term, like you said, if Bones hit his potential.
Not if this move comes about. Because if Bones does go to his full potential, he was never going to get that full playing time like he would want, because you have Blue Arrow Jamal Murray. And I don't care what anybody says, Jamal Murray is the top 5 guard in the league when fully healthy. And he proved that in the bubble. So, and he's getting back to full strength. So Jamal Murray was always going to get that over Bones. Could have they played side by side and Bones been the true point guard? Maybe, but we'll not know now. To finish that trade out, so Nuggets get Thomas Bryant, right? They send Bones to the Clippers, which, God, I hate. I really do. Then the Nuggets send a 2024 second to the Magic. And the Lakers send cash considerations to the Magic along with Patrick Beverley. So Beverly's gone now. He's out of LA. He's down in Orlando. And the Lakers get Mo Bamba. They get some other things too, but Mo Bamba is the big piece. When they lost Bryant, I was like, perfect. That completely deteriorates their front court. They've got no depth whatsoever. Even if Anthony Davis is healthy, you can beat up on him a little bit, put him in foul trouble. They got nothing to bring back. Nothing for the Lakers. Mo Bamba being sent to the Lakers is huge because you can run him, AD, and LeBron all in the front court. And then you can pick your guards. D'Angelo Russell, you can run Hachimura out there as a big lineup. You could go a little bit smaller. You can run Malik Beasley. You can run Reed. You can run some of these other guys. It gives the Lakers a lot of options in depth, which I hate. I hate that they did that. So, again, I said Lakers made some really good moves. Lakers made some really good moves. The next trade that I think is worth discussing here is not because it has any huge impact, in my opinion. It's just kind of odd that the Golden State Warriors gave up so early on Wiseman. But I guess if you know, you know. But you drafted the dude second overall. This is his second year in the league, third year in the league, second year in the league, I'm pretty sure. They traded him away for 5, I believe, 4 or 5 second-round picks or something like that. They just finally were like, dude, you're not going to fit here, or you're never going to work, or they know he's not going to become what they had hoped he would. They're done. They sent him. They got some second-round picks back, and then they got Gary Payton II back from Orlando to shore back up that defensive presence that they've been lacking this season. So I thought that was a big deal. Now, it was weird that Gary Payton Jr. or Gary Payton II's physical failed. And so Golden State was wondering, do we allow the trade? Do we null it out because he didn't pass his physical? But by all accounts, from everything I've heard, the trade's still going to go through. They're not worried about the physical in that sense that they already know what he is and what they're getting, and so they're going to bring him back. But it was odd that they were willing to give up on him.
I got to comment on something real quick. Not basketball related.
Okay.
Just got the notification. My kid's school is closed tomorrow.
Yeah.
It hasn't even started snowing yet.
Hasn't even snowed yet.
Hasn't even snowed yet.
What's up, Bubba? How you doing tonight, buddy? Yeah, dude. I don't think the storm here in Colorado is going to be as bad as everybody says, but people are already canceling. We don't even have moisture on the ground yet, and people are canceling school for tomorrow. So it's going to be real interesting. Real interesting. All right, here's the let me get through this last one here, and then I'll talk a little something about what I was going to. Well, actually, I'm sorry. There's 2 more. One. All
right, hustle up, Caleb. Hustle.
I got you. Hey, it's NBA. I told you there's a lot to happen, Pinky. I think this one's just kind of interesting and funny, so I wanted to mention it before we talk about the big guy. The Clippers traded Eric Gordon to the Rockets. I'm sorry. The Clippers traded for Eric Gordon from the Rockets, who Eric Gordon was miserable in Houston, and he wanted out so bad. So I am so happy for Eric Gordon. Solid player. Great pickup for the Clippers. The Clippers sent the Rockets back John Wall. And for anybody that knows anything about the NBA, John Wall wanted nothing more than to get the hell out of Houston. Just leave Houston. John Wall wanted out so bad. They didn't even play him last year. They made him sit just to make sure he didn't get injured, so they were guaranteed his money. That's how bad that relationship was. And for whatever reason, Houston was like, you know what? Yeah, we'll trade you Eric Gordon, but could you give us John Wall back? We really want to try that again. Like, Houston, you're like the worst team in the league. What are you doing, man? Feel bad for John Wall. Big John Wall fan. I'd be amazed if he ever steps foot in Houston again. They will probably buy him out, and he will probably never play there again. If I'm John Wall, I wouldn't even get on that plane. I just tell him I don't even want my money. Just keep it. I'm not going back. So
That boy
I thought that was
money.
funny.
He wants his money.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's making like 50 mil a year. Like, his contract's crazy. So yes, he's getting paid. But I thought that was hilarious. I thought Gordon going to the LA and then John Wall back to Houston was absolutely hilarious. There are some other moves, but they're not worth talking about. What I'm going to talk about now is the biggest trade and then a couple of other things to pay attention to. Pinky, the Nets probably should have just listened to me before they signed any superstars 3 years ago. Because after they traded Kyrie, apparently Kevin Durant went to them and said, hey, yeah, this ain't going to work. I want out. And not only do I want out, but you're going to go ahead and send me to Phoenix. And sure enough, Kevin Durant got sent to Phoenix for a haul. A haul, Pinky. This is crazy. It's also wild that the NBA fast-tracked the approval of the Suns' new owner about a week ago, almost specifically so he could be involved in the trade deadline. And the Suns' owner, by all accounts, said, I don't care what it costs. We're making this happen. Send him everything we have to. So Kevin Durant got sent to the Suns. This is the deal, and it is mind-blowing. Now, I'll explain why it's actually not as much as it seems on the surface here in a second. But let me just tell you. The Suns get Kevin Durant and TJ Warren. Yeah, solid pieces. Great. That's great. Play that alongside Booker. Play that alongside Chris Paul. Play that alongside Ayton. Boy, you just put yourself at the top of the West. Hands down, no questions asked. And you had to give up a couple decent pieces. Mikal Bridges is an up-and-coming guy. Super solid. There are some people that say he has some potential to become one of the top dudes in the NBA, potentially. He was up for NBA Defensive Player of the Year last year. Big piece. You gave away Cam Johnson. Nice bench player. Nothing more than that. But a nice bench player. But then you gave up a big swing. You gave up a 2023 first. And this is what I love about the NBA. When they give up multiple picks, it's never back-to-back years. So it's a 2023 first, it's a 2025 first, a 2027 first, and then they did do the 28 pick swap. So all sorts of picks included, 4 first rounds, some second rounds, and then the Suns also sent Jay Crowder in that deal. But with some of those other moving parts, Jay Crowder then got bought out. Jay Crowder is now with the Bucks. That is a huge get for the Bucks. Defensive 3-and-D guy. Huge get from Milwaukee. That's similar to the a la PJ Tucker move they had a couple years ago when they won the chip. So pay attention to the Bucks in that move because it's a big move. But Phoenix, they went all in. They said, here's all our chips. Put them in the middle and watch what we do. That core, Durant, Ayton, Booker, and what many call the point guard in Chris Paul. Paul
easy.
George, terrible. PG. I'm thinking PG. Point guard, not wrong. Sorry. Chris Paul. That's going to be something to deal with in the West. And right now, I think the Nuggets are the only team that are capable of dealing with that. I'm not going to get into all of that now. I'm just trying to do trade deadlines and a couple things to pay attention to. But we will talk more about that, and that does put them on a very even playing field, and I'll explain why in a couple weeks. Well, probably next week. We'll break it down a little more. The last thing I want to pay people to pay attention to, and I mentioned it a couple different times, the buyout market's going to be big. Russ is going to get bought out. I don't think that's a big deal, though. He's not going anywhere that's playoff contention. He's not helping anybody. But he will get bought out, and he'll go somewhere. There are a couple other big buyouts that will probably happen. I think the biggest one to pay attention to right now, because I'm going to talk local Nuggets fans here in Colorado, Reggie Jackson. Pay attention to Reggie Jackson and getting bought out by, I believe, Charlotte which everybody's already confirmed that that's what's going to happen. He has said he'd like to be a Nug. So Reggie Jackson being a Nug, that is a huge, huge get for the Nuggets if that's happened. And that would make the Bones Highland move null and void, in all honesty. So pay attention to that as a Nugs fan. Other than that, All-Star Weekend is this weekend. This might be the last year I ever watched the NBA All-Star Weekend, if it's as terrible as it has been in years past. The three-point contest has been hit or miss. The dunk contest has been unwatchable. The All-Star game has been unwatchable. And the skills competition has been hit or miss. So I will pay attention to it this week. I think the NBA has missed very many opportunities, vast, huge load of them, to make this All-Star Weekend more fan-friendly, more viewer-friendly, more must-see TV. And they haven't done any of that. So we'll see. I think the dunk contest is dead, and I think they're beating a dead horse every year they have it now. If you're not going to have your best athletes, your best high flyers, your best dunkers in the dunk contest,
yeah, I mean,
how is that?
They don't have any incentive to get the top guys out there. So,
which makes no sense because these guys are acting like they're going to get hurt if they go out there and try the dunk contest. When really, what's going to get hurt is their ego, and these new superstars in the NBA don't want that bruise on their ego, so they're not going to do it.
Again, this is back in the day. I remember the top guys did the three-point contest. The top guys did the dunk contest. Like, you wanted that. Like, you wanted that challenge. You wanted to go out there. Yeah, they just don't want that. Who are your teams other than Rich? Rich is coming. He's coming in hot tonight.
Who are my teams other than Nike?
You got a Nike hoodie on.
Yeah, I mean, Nike. That's it. I'm a Nike guy. No. I am a Nike guy, though. My favorite team ever, period, bar none. Pinky, who is it?
Go Big Red.
Thank you. Nebraska Cornhuskers. You will not catch me rocking a lot of their gear, though, because they decided Adidas was the right people to get sponsored by. So, don't like the three stripes. Don't really wear a lot of the three stripes. Starting to change that a little bit because I don't have a chance to get more gear. Oh, I got plenty of Huskers gear, my guy. It's just not official, if you will, because I don't wear the three stripes. But I'm probably gonna change that here in the next year or so, and I'll start really loading up on official stuff. But I'm a Nike guy. I'm also a Nebraska guy, UNC fan, because I didn't know Nebraska had a basketball team when I was 5 years old, and my best friend was a UNC fan, so go Tar Heels. And then everything else is Colorado. Nugs, Broncos. We don't talk about baseball. Stay with us and you'll learn why. Yeah, a lot of bootleg Husker gear. That's how I roll.
Don't forget the Avs.
Love the Avs. I was going to get there too. Avs, Rapids. I'll root for all of those guys because I don't really care.
Mammoth,
yeah. So, yeah, Colorado for everything else. But born in Lincoln. Family's from Nebraska, so I'm a Husker. And Nike, as you can see, a lot of Nike. That's about all my shoes, unless they're dress shoes, are Nike.
You got that going for you. Is that a
Appreciate
USA hat? It is a USA hat.
I love this thing. It's a cool hat.
I knew we were talking basketball today, Caleb, so I
like it. I almost wore mine, but it matched. It looked good together. I liked it. So appreciate the love, Richie. Pinky, that's all the basketball I'm going to give you right now. I know I went through quite a bit with the trade scenarios and everything. Went a little deep dive there, but I feel it was necessary. Had to jump it off right to start getting into the NBA here over the next couple of weeks.
Look, just going to give a little service announcement. Jayhawks are up 4 right now. Feeling good? Avalanche are up 2-0. 2-0.
I like that one. I like that public service announcement. Give me more of those.
Here's a crazy one. I got to give some credit. Celtics have been the best team in the NBA. Milwaukee right below them, and then you got the Nuggets, right?
Oh, no. Nuggets are the best team in the NBA, then the Celtics, then Milwaukee. Let's make sure we
record-wise, the Celtics have the best record by a game.
As of last night,
Well, until
the Nuggets
tonight.
were up until so. Let's
So I gotta
fine,
give credit
fine.
to this. I got to give credit to the Celtics. Without Brown and Tatum, they took the Bucks to overtime, and they're going to lose by 2. That's
Celtics will beat.
pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
I'll answer this, and then we'll move into the NFL. Worst trade, Richie. Tell me, are you talking like this year, or are you talking like all time?
I mean, he's from Canada. If you haven't watched his
I got it. I see. He's got the Raptors. I'm a big Masai Ujiri guy. That dude is brilliant. Former Nugget.
The Raptors
great.
Have to go back to the old logo, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, I do love the Vince Carter. You're talking about Vince Carter era logo? Oh, hell yeah, dude.
That's the best. Sweet. That is the best.
This year, honestly, I would say the Nets with both the Kyrie and the KD trades. I would say those are the worst trades. At surface level, that might sound weird, but they put all their chips in that basket 3 years ago to get both of them, and then 2 years ago to get James Harden. And that will go down, in my opinion. And look, you can say I'm just saying this now, but you can ask Pinky. You can go back and listen to our old episodes. I said that would be the biggest mistake probably in NBA history when they put that together, and it turned out to be true.
You absolutely called it. But you got 3 players that I feel like, again, focus on themselves. And then you ask them to play as a group together. I had a hard time seeing that one working out.
Yeah, so I think that was the worst trade this year, was the Nets moving both KD and Kyrie. And honestly, they didn't really get anything back. Because picks in the NBA, in my personal opinion, and maybe some might disagree with this, but picks in the NBA are worthless. In all honesty,
crapshoots, man.
Yeah, I mean, you got better luck playing craps in Vegas than you do NBA lottery pick.
The hits in the NBA draft are literally like nobody knows anything, man.
No, it's so bad. It's so bad. So for them to not get back a star. Not a superstar, just a star. In both of those deals, they couldn't get anything back. And then when you put the Harden deal into all of that combined and looking at what Ben Simmons is now, and they're bad. They're bad. And I said before this all happened, what they had going in Brooklyn before they signed these guys was really good. And they should have ran with it and see what could happen, and they chose not to.
What's crazy? I think technically, if they get KD and they don't get Kyrie and Harden, I think they might have been able to build something if they could have kept some of the pieces they had.
They could have, but the problem is KD wanted Kyrie, so Kyrie actually signed with them first before KD did. So it's, as Pinky likes to say, mistakes were made.
Hashtag mistakes were made.
Very much so.
Oh,
you're right.
All right.
Canada's got some young talent. However, Richie, I hate to do this to you, man, and end you like this and move on. By all means, come back. We'll talk some more basketball next week. But my guy, how'd you guys fare in the Olympics? How'd that Canadian basketball team do?
Whoa, easy, Caleb.
Hey,
easy.
Canada. You might have invented the game, all right?
Whoa.
You might finally have some young talent coming up in the game. But let's not get crazy just yet, okay? Okay?
I'm sorry, guys. He's kind of a dick sometimes. Don't bother him. It's all right.
Hey, man, I'm a true speaker. What can I say?
I can't fault you there. Plus, I've had about 3. I'm about 3. This is like my 3rd little thing. I'm feeling pretty good now. So you can do you, baby.
Richie, we don't talk a lot of hockey on this show. Come playoff time, we'll talk a lot because the Avs will be in it. But unfortunately, we're not big hockey guys. I love all sports, love hockey, love watching it. We don't talk about it a lot.
I'm following it more.
We are. Pinky is. So. Pinky's finally following enough to have an idea of what's being talked about when we do discuss it. We got a good buddy of ours, a friend of the show, who will be coming on here in a couple weeks to start filling us in on what we should be looking at coming into the playoff and the final stretch. So our boy Cody will be with us. He'll join us and give us
we
our
do need
playoff
to get
rundown.
Cody on the show.
Cody's our hockey guy. He will catch everybody up on what they need to know. So he'll be here in a couple weeks, and we'll run.
I'm getting
down.
better. I'm getting better.
Absolutely, you are. Absolutely. But with that being said, there is one thing Pinky knows well, very well, and the biggest stage of this thing that Pinky knows so well happened over the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I might know a thing or two too, so we might slide into discussing some of this now, and get some takes and some thoughts.
Caleb,
I think I might have a couple hot takes for Pinky that he may not be ready for.
You've always got a good lead in, but you know what made me the most excited about Sunday being over?
What?
You know what time it is now?
Draft season, baby. Your favorite season.
Draft season.
Yeah. Pinky and I do love our draft season.
The NFL draft is my thing.
Richie, damn, coming in hot tonight, my guy.
Well, you're not wrong, my friend, but I
Look,
do try
Richie,
to double fist
always.
it on my way down to my seat.
Hey, Richie, if you're at a sporting event in person and you don't know where the drink stand is, I question your fandom.
That's a rookie move.
Rookie move, absolutely. Cheers, my
Rookie
good guy.
Move. Yeah, so Super Bowl being over is now draft season, so I'm excited. Wow, man. Gosh. There's so much to unpack.
I know, so let's do this to start, because I've got two things that I want to mention. So, if you could, on the spot, give me your top 2 or 3 takeaways or things that stuck out to you before, during, or after the game. Give me your top 2 or 3.
So I'm still confused on how the Philadelphia top defense did not, I don't know what they were playing out there, but they were playing exactly what the Chiefs want them to play. Yep. You do not play zone against the Chiefs. You don't.
Nope.
You can play zone against the Chiefs if you're getting pressure.
Right.
But if you're getting zero pressure, then playing zone does dick for you, because
absolutely,
the home is going to hit the open guy. Oh, Bubba. Bubba.
I can't. I didn't want to go back to basketball, but Bubba, God, I feel so bad for you. Like, I'm gonna pray for you tonight, Bubba. I'm gonna pray for you, because F OKC, F them. That team shouldn't exist, and you should still have a team in Seattle. Facts. No questions asked. And the fact that move forced you to become a Lakers fan, that is like one of the worst things I've ever heard in all of sports. It makes me sick. I am sad for you, Bubba.
I mean,
get Seattle a basketball team right now so this man doesn't have to root for the Lakers.
Caleb, to be honest, I mean, he had the Trailblazers, and there's a big Portland-Seattle rivalry, so he probably couldn't root for them. And they've not been very good anyways. And then on that side, you got the Lakers and the Clippers. So I get it. Bubba. I won't judge you for it.
Oh, I'm judging you a lot.
As soon as LeBron
mostly that I feel bad for you, but that's yucky.
They haven't been great this year anyways, or last year. As soon as LeBron leaves, they're really going to be bad.
They'll be bad. All right. So, the defense, what else you got, Pinky? What give me another 1 or 2.
I mean, I hate to give it to Mahomes, man, but what Mahomes did with I don't think they have a lot of offensive talent outside of Kelsey. They got guys that are just, to me, they're just guys. They're not special in any way. So that just shows his greatness, that he still put up, 38 points in the Super Bowl. That offense was one of the top offenses all year. Like, it's crazy to me. I know where everybody wants to go, but
Richie, that was solid, my guy.
He took some painkillers. Absolutely.
That was solid. All right, here's what I got
He
for
took
you,
some
Pinky.
painkillers.
Here's what I got for you. I was watching the game with our boy Zach. When when the Eagles kicked the field goal to go up 27-14,
27.
I'm sorry, 27-21, I said that was the game. I looked at Zach and I said, this feels like the game. A field goal, you lose. You go for it for the touchdown, you win.
Why did they kick a field goal there? Because their wide receiver dropped the ball and hit him right in the hands.
I know. But I would have liked to have seen you're up. You're known for being a little bit more aggressive. I would have liked to have seen Philly be aggressive there and go for it. I think that was a big turning point in the game. Not the turnover that people want to talk about before that. They came right back and scored a touchdown, went right back up. Did that swing momentum? Yes. Could have they gone up 14 instead of 7? Instead of being tied? Yes. All of those things true. I don't think that turnover played that big of a role in the overall outcome of the game, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that field goal to go to 27 instead of 31 was a huge turning point. That's one for me.
So
okay?
he fumbled on third down. So that's where I'm like they maybe don't even score on that drive if he doesn't fumble. So I don't think that was like you said, it wasn't the deciding factor.
Okay.
But
So that's my first one. That moment to me felt huge. And I looked at Zach and I said it. So you don't want to believe me? We'll get my boy Zach. And my boy Zach is more willing to say I lied or I'm an idiot than he is to say I said something smart.
That's absolutely
so keep that in mind. I said it. The second big thing I took away, and I'm amazed that this isn't being talked about as much. The fact that the Eagles decided to hire Vic Fangio for 2 weeks to help them prepare for the Super Bowl for their defense. What I saw was exactly what I said I didn't like with Denver, which is this bend but don't break mentality as a defense. I felt like that's what the Eagles were playing. I feel like they took way too much of a Fangio approach. So whatever he gave them on the Chiefs was awful. And they put themselves in a position to be bend but don't break. And when the time came to bend, they broke.
But the problem is you can't play an aggressive style of defense all year and then play bend but don't break. You can't do it.
I fully agree. That's why I'm saying I think bringing Fangio in was a huge mistake because they took too much of what he had for a Chiefs game plan to heart and then put it into their own game plan.
Now
they didn't pressure nearly as much as they did. You don't go down as the third most team with the third most sacks in NFL regular season history and then get none in the Super Bowl. 0 in the Super Bowl unless you completely change the defensive mindset and game plan that you had been playing with all year. And I fully believe Vic Fangio got in the Eagles' heads and put them in a position that was not good on the defensive side. That's 2. Number 3, my final point that I'll give you here and then we can discuss is something Richie Rich just said here. NFL refs not being full-time is mind-blowing to me. The fact that they are not full-time, the fact that they are not continuously working on their crafts to make sure that, and I'm not going to say the call was good or bad at the end of the game. What I will say is it was not consistent with the way the rest of the game was called. And that's what irks me so much about it, is the fact that that call was the only holding call in the entire game. That is not consistent with the way the game was being played and called. So then you put players in a position to do something that you're then going to call that you weren't all game. That puts players in a very bad spot. So the fact that NFL referees are not full-time is atrocious.
So I don't know if the full-time changes that at all. I don't. But
I don't know if it would either, but it can't hurt. It cannot hurt to put them in a position to be working on their craft year-round.
We see this a lot where it's like they pick and choose. And since the Chiefs-Bengals game and then this game, the NFL rigged on Twitter is like always trending. Always trending. My biggest thing, and I think I heard Pat McAfee, I thought his takes on it were the best. He was just like, look, you cannot not call a holding call all game.
Right.
Where he was like, there was a play where Juju got really held really bad, and you guys didn't call it.
Dan Orlovsky brought that up actually on Get Up, where it was middle of the third quarter, I think, right in the middle of the field, about 50-yard line-ish. It was a slant right across the middle. Juju was pissed after the play. He was throwing his hands up in the air. He wanted the flag. You saw none of that reaction on that last play.
So in real time, to me, this doesn't look like holding.
I agree.
When you slow it down, you can see a little bit of the jersey tug. He's got his arm. He's not redirecting him at all, but he's got his arm around him. Like those things are there. The ball's overthrown. It didn't impact the play, in my opinion. I don't see Juju getting to that one way or the other. It looked like it was uncatchable. And I think that's what I have a problem with the holding call. Like, if they throw the flag immediately when he first gets held, I might not have a problem with that.
I'll agree with that. But
when you wait until the ball's already overthrown and then you're like, oh, wait, throw the flag? Okay, guys, that's a little late, guys. Like, it's late. To me, I just – and again, you swallowed your flag and your whistle all game.
Whole game.
So,
I mean, honestly, I feel like that call – I don't feel like that call changed the final score. Because who knows if Philadelphia would have been able to go down and kick a tying field goal or even score a touchdown to win. I'm not going there.
I think they do. I think they do go down and kick a field goal.
I will not argue with that. I'm not even going to give you my opinion on that. That's not what I'm saying here. What I am saying is that call deprived us of what I truly believe would have gone down as the greatest Super Bowl in history. I do.
People will forget that this was a really great Super Bowl besides that one play. They'll still harp on this one play, right or wrong, but to me it taints a little bit. And I know some of my friends will disagree. Mahomes is the face of the NFL right now.
Absolutely. I don't think that's even great.
Well, the Chiefs are going to get calls. The NFL.
Oh, that's where you're going to go with this. Sure.
They're going to get
Tom Brady and the Patriots did.
Peyton Manning, he got calls when he was with the Colts and with the Broncos. The face of the NFL, they want those guys to win. It helps the brand. It helps them sell everywhere. It's for the Mahomes to win is awesome, right? They get to keep selling everything Mahomes. Now, again, at the end of the day, it's the Eagles' defense that still gave up 38 points. Didn't stop them at all in the second half. And it's all on them. It's their fault. Like, I don't think the refs, all the refs did was make it to where we didn't get to see do the Eagles score with a minute and a half.
Right, that's all that happened. They didn't have any outcome other than that.
If they go to overtime, I still think the Chiefs probably win. They had all the momentum. The Eagles hadn't stopped them all game after that.
That's why I say I'm not going to go down. And you know me, I love the what ifs. I love that stuff. I'm not doing it in this situation. I'm just not. This is what I'll say finally about Fangio. And just to kind of touch on what Richie's saying here. I get what you're saying, Richie. I might be the only one that thinks this, but I completely disagree with you. I think every game the Chiefs played against the Broncos while Fangio was coach was a lazy Chiefs team playing. I don't think we ever saw their best.
They didn't have.
I think they knew they were playing. They were a superior team. The Broncos were trash compared to the Chiefs. They didn't have to come out and play their best game.
The Chiefs played pretty vanilla most of the time they played the Broncos. They didn't have to bring out any of their cool plays or gadgets or anything because they were playing the Broncos. Why waste those plays against the Broncos?
And what is Fangio notorious for? Bend but don't break and bring zero pressure. That's like what he's notorious for. What did the Eagles do? Bend but don't break and bring zero pressure. You put your players in positions where you went square peg, round hole. You have been doing round peg, round hole all season with that defense, and then all of a sudden in the Super Bowl, you decided to switch it all up and do square peg, round hole. And it ruined you.
Look.
So that is also why I am amazed, absolutely amazed, that the Cardinals decided to hire the Eagles defensive coordinator instead of the Bengals defensive coordinator. because I thought
Right.
one showed a lot more this season than the other one did. And I'm not a big Fangio guy. I thought the hire was trash to begin with. I've never thought he's been the greatest defensive mind because to me, bend but don't break defenses only work when you're playing mediocre teams. Great offense, and I will say this forever and ever and ever. Great offense will always beat great defense because you have the advantage. You know what they're doing and they don't. So if you're going to do bend but don't break against a great offense, more times than not, you're going to break. And that puts you in really bad situations. And it blows my mind that that's what the Eagles decided to do. There are a lot of other teams that played the Chiefs well on the defensive side of the ball this season and over the last couple of years. Fangio is not the guy I would have talked to, given the way my team plays and the personnel I have on my team.
Well, I think they got sold fool's gold because they thought they were getting the guy that plays well against the Chiefs. But yes, the Chiefs always did vanilla offense against the Broncos. So
because they knew they didn't have to do anything more than that to win. So big mistake by the Eagles coaching staff and Sirianni, which is a bummer because I really like him as a head coach. I think he's really good. But that was a mistake. And I bet if you ask him right now, today, if he could do it all over again, if he'd bring Fangio on as a consultant, he'd say no. I fully believe that would be his answer.
I'd void that check if I were them.
Hell yeah. So those are my three things. That's what I took away from the game. The last thought I have of the game is Mahomes is phenomenal. Okay. Don't take what I'm about to say as a slight against Mahomes. He was amazing. And he came up in the biggest moments like a superstar when he had to. That run on 3rd and 9 or whatever the hell that was from like the 50 down to the 25, dude, game saving. Mahomes is brilliant. He is all-time great. And Pinky, I'm going to throw it out there again to you. Right now, career ends. Dude's a Hall of Famer.
I mean, Peyton Manning said
I know you like that longevity. I know you like that longevity thing. But to me, you accomplished that in the eye test, done.
I don't have any problem saying he's Hall of Famer at the moment. I'd still have an issue saying he's the GOAT.
Okay,
a lot of people
I'll give that. That's fine.
As the GOAT.
I think there's still room for him to get there, so we're good.
Like,
cheers.
Eli Manning's going to be a Hall of Famer, and he was a below-average quarterback his entire career. So,
we're not doing the Eli thing right now. I'm not having that conversation with you, Pinky. No. You're going to get the Matumbo finger here. No.
I know Mahomes.
Don't do it right now.
Mahomes has already thrown 5,000 yards twice in his career. He's already thrown 50 touchdowns. His numbers at this moment are pretty insane.
2 MVPs. 2 Super Bowl MVPs. 2 Super Bowls. Dude's crazy. And all that being said, this is where I'm going. Jalen Hurts was the better quarterback on that field Sunday. Jalen Hurts played out of his mind. And the fact that he didn't get another chance to go down there and see if he could win or tie, the fact that his defense couldn't get him the ball in the second half, man, that's a bummer.
Let me get your take on this. We've had a disagreement in one of my chat groups. One of my friends thinks that.
I'm all about giving the truth. What we got?
He said, it does not matter if the Eagles got the ball back with 1:30. They would not get 45 yards to kick a field goal.
What did they see during that game, during the whole year that made them believe that was even true? They would have had 1:40 with 2 timeouts.
It would have been 1:30-ish with no timeouts. The timeouts were used. Before that holding call, the timeouts were used.
Okay, fair. You're right.
Or at least one of them was used.
I thought they still would have had one.
Without the holding
even if they have 0, there was 1:48 when that holding call was done. I say then the field goal gets kicked. They'll just kick it in the end zone. They'll kneel it. All that takes about 8 seconds. You would have had 1:40 on the clock from the 25. And this person, and I really hope it's not who I think it is. Tell me it's not who I hope I think it is.
It definitely is who you think it is.
Why? What? What did they do that made him actually believe that that wouldn't have happened?
Their offense is predicated on running the football,
which they didn't do all game, and Jalen Hurts ended up having the highest. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this closely. Jalen Hurts had the highest passing grade in Super Bowl history by PFF at 92.9.
So my argument was they already had two 40-yard completions.
Yep.
They had a 40-yard completion that was ruled not a catch, which I still think was a catch in my opinion. And then they had a 40-yarder that was dropped. So their ability to get open.
Well, and then that ball he threw to Goddard for, what was that, 15, 20-ish on that third and long? That was brilliant.
Third and 14? Yeah.
Oh.
So
Jalen Hurts would have gone 45 yards. Easy.
I disagree with the take. I think they could have gone 45 yards easily. Now
it's not just that. It's not just that, Pinky. And I love that you're bringing this up. It's not just could have he gone 45 yards. It's that you're going against a team who likes to roll the dice, a head coach who doesn't mind going for it on fourth down all year. So you're going to go all four downs, and they have a playbook for that. They have plays specifically to line them up for those situations. It's part of their MO.
I just don't think those cornerbacks who were most of them were rookies besides L'Jarius Sneed could have handled that. There would have been wide open. Devontae Smith was wide open all the time. So I don't think they struggled to move the ball that much, but the Chiefs' scoring drives were so long they ate up most of the clock.
That's how I saw it too.
The Chiefs had the longest drive, I want to say, in the Super Bowl, except for maybe the longest plays. It was 17 plays. It ate up over 7 minutes. I think the only drive that lasted longer was the Giants' drive in the Super Bowl against the Bills. So people want to say this. Look, the Eagles had an MO all season of coming out fire the first half and flat the second half. Now, some of that flatness is because they had such big leads they didn't have to worry about it. Some of it was just flat. So I'll give you that. However, I'm with Pinky. What I saw wasn't so much that the Eagles couldn't get it done on offense in the second half. I saw a team that defense couldn't get them back on the field and force them to sit for long stretches, which didn't give them as many opportunities to go out there and score. I can see it either way, so I wouldn't be mad if you went with the idea that they struggled to move the ball. I would say they struggled to run the ball all game. I would say they had no issues passing the ball all game, which was very much a surprise. But I think to say a minute 40 on the clock, the way Jalen Hurts was playing, the weapons that the Eagles have, they couldn't go 45 yards in a minute 40 with 4 downs. Man, I would not put my money on that at all. For sure. So so I'm glad you agree with me on that. I just didn't see where that was coming from. I was like, I saw the Eagles throwing the ball deep all the time. So,
and Richie, you make a good point. I could give you that they didn't have those long, sustained, strategic kind of wear you down drives like they were maybe known for the whole season or specifically in the first half of games. But what I saw was a team that made a mistake in listening to somebody who I don't think is a great defensive mind like everybody puts out there. I hate the bend but don't break mentality, so maybe that's why I'm so against it. I cannot stand that.
Look, man,
and then the defense that just got outplayed, period.
I would have played man up, and I would have brought 5-man pressure.
Every time. They were beating you already anyway, so who cares if you go man up, right? Like, make Mahomes work for
it. Again, Mahomes did not have – he's on a bad ankle, and you bring no pressure on him at all to where he can just sit back and find the open zone. Like, that was ridiculous. So
I agree.
And that, again, that just shows to the greatness of the Chiefs and Andy Reid.
Absolutely. Pinky, this is a good transition for you. And you can finish your last thought and then move into this for me.
I just have one thought I want.
Okay. Move into this as soon as I ask you this question. Give me your thought and then
Okay.
move into my question. And we can
Okay.
wrap things up this way. Who is in a better position going forward after this season, the Chiefs or Eagles?
It's the Chiefs.
Give me your thought and then we'll discuss.
It's the Chiefs. They have 12 draft picks. They've got Mahomes. They've got Andy Reid. I think you let Juju walk. Myself, I'm not paying that dude like $15 million a year. I'm not doing it. I'm cutting MVS as well. He was useless for the most part. I'm going to try to find some guys. Eagles have like Brandon Graham might be done. Kelsey might be done. Fletcher Cox might be done. They just lost Gannon, their defensive coordinator. They just lost their offensive coordinator. Lane Johnson might retire as well. There's word out there that he might retire. Now, they play in a much easier conference. Like, to me, they've got to contend with the 49ers. Seahawks have another good draft. Maybe the Seahawks. And Detroit. Like, I see Detroit as an up-and-comer. I just don't see a lot of like dominant teams in the NFC that like would make it tough for them to get back. But I see them having they're going to have to put in some work.
Fully agree. And I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt your last thought. I want to transition here with that. Give me that last thought before we move forward.
My last thought is I kind of want to see Mahomes without Andy Reid.
Ooh.
It might be a few years from that happening, but that's what I'm waiting to see.
Why?
Because I just want to see, like, what does he do under a different play caller, a different strategy, a different coach? You know, is it Andy Reid? Is it Mahomes? They've got a symbiotic relationship, which I think, again, like Brady and Belichick pretty much let Brady run things. And they had a system in place. Andy Reid has a system in place for Mahomes. You don't get a lot of quarterbacks and coaches that have that relationship like Montana and Bill Walsh, right?
Name a great player that didn't have a great coach.
I mean, I don't think
we're
Peyton
talking
Manning ever had a
all-time
great
great. I'm not
coach.
talking about Hall of Famer. I'm talking about
Peyton
all-time
Manning didn't
great.
have a great coach.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
I don't think Elway had a great coach until the last 5 years of his career.
Shanahan was a great coach.
He was, but that was at the end of
Shanahan's
his
the
career.
reason, but that's why Elway won, right?
Correct.
So give me an example where that's the case, but there wasn't a great coach. Manning is the only example, honestly, in any sport that I can think of.
I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers winning a Super Bowl, great quarterback with Mike McCarthy. I don't think Mike McCarthy's a great coach.
So that's a unique one that I hadn't thought about, actually, because we know how much I love AA Ron. All-time great, but he didn't win a lot, right? Only the one Super Bowl.
Regular season, he's
but you know what I mean. We know what I mean when I say he didn't win a lot.
He shrinks in the playoffs.
So, he didn't have a great coach to help him get over that. Andy Reid, Mahomes, great coach, great player. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, great coach, great player. You mentioned one. Montana, Walsh, right? Jordan, Bill Jackson.
Right?
Kobe Shaq, Bill Jackson. You see that 9 times out of 10, when you have a great player, there's going to be a great coach with him. And that's because the two of them together are able to fulfill and bring out the ultimate greatness in each other. So I understand where you're coming from, and it would be fun to see how good he can be without the other side of that. But I'm more on the side of keep them together and let's just keep seeing the greatness grow.
So if you want that to be the case, and that's fine, Mahomes needs to take Andy Reid aside and say, put down that burger, bro. Let's get you some salad. I saw that treadmill in your basement during the draft. Let's get those clothes off of it, and let's get you using it. Let's get you in better shape so you don't retire.
Coach, I need you to stick around a little bit longer. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point, Pinky.
And that's probably good for the NFL as a whole. Andy Reid's a good guy.
And it sucks because I have always been somebody who will appreciate, acknowledge, and watch as much as I can of the greatness while it's happening. Brady and Belichick might be the one exception to that because I never saw anything great from Brady. I saw a really good player who had a lot of great opportunities. The older I got, though, and the more I started thinking about it, Brady's mind is what made him great. Maybe not necessarily all the athletic gifts that some guys have, but that cerebral part of his game is so underrated that the older I get and the more I go back and think about it, the more I appreciate it.
I mean, when you remember watching Patriots games, their special teams was always great. Their defense was always good. And those guys didn't turn the ball over. They didn't have a lot of fumbles. Brady didn't throw a lot of interceptions. When you're playing a team that doesn't turn the ball over, they put points up and they keep you from scoring points. Got a pretty good chance.
Agreed. Now, to wrap it up here for us,
I posed the question: if you take Peyton Manning and you put him with an actual great coach, how many?
You put him on those Patriots teams. You swap Brady for Peyton, he's winning just as many. I have no doubt in my mind. So, football is a little bit different where it is wild that quarterbacks get as much praise and blame as they do for an ultimate team sport. Basketball, one guy can really control a game if he wants to and really affect an outcome. One guy in a football game cannot do that. I don't care what anybody says. So there's only
one guy that I remember on a football field where the rest, the other 20 or 10 guys on offense could be shitty and he would still take over a game, was Barry Sanders.
Yeah, but even that didn't get him, any accolades as far as postseason. You know what I mean? Like,
they got to an NFC Championship game, but he's the one guy that's like, even when the team around him wasn't great, he was still able to get his team in.
Detroit did him so dirty, and Megatron. We're not going down that road. Von Miller single-handedly won Super Bowl 50. I will give you that. But he couldn't have done that if he didn't have those other pieces around helping take some of that pressure off of him. So that
defense had pieces up and down.
Up and down. So he didn't do it by himself, but he did single-handedly win the game. You figure that out, semantics in English, your own. I'm not explaining. Here's what I will say to the question I posed you, and we can wrap it up on this for the week. Surface level, I think if you just look on paper, surface level real quick, you would say the Eagles are in a better position long-term going forward. QB on a rookie deal, couple first-round draft picks coming up, plenty of talent on the team.
Hey.
But I'm with you, Pinky. I'm with you. I actually think the Chiefs are set up better long-term because they've already paid their quarterback. They have the head coach. And then from there, just this year was supposed to be a rebuild year for the Chiefs. Look what they did. You go find sign Juju to a 2-year deal for $25 million or something. Healthy, he had a stretch in the middle of the season where he was dominant for them. Sky Moore's coming along. You can find other pieces to fit MBS. You got the rookie Pacheco coming up in your backfield. You've got arguably the best offensive line in the game. You've got arguably the best tight end to ever play the game. You've got a young up-and-coming defense with a bunch of rookies who just got a ton of playing time in important games.
Let's be honest right now. They need to figure out how to replace Kelsey because he's getting up there in age, and one injury can put him out for a little bit of time during the season.
You're right. They'll have to start looking. Now, Noah Gray has had some flashes. He's looked good. He's looked good in some spot plays that they ran for him. You're not going to be able to replace Kelsey. Let's be honest. You're not going to go out and be able to draft another Kelsey. So you're going to have to do it with multiple pieces. That's how you're going to replace him long term. And then you hope you draft a guy who can then be a game breaker like a Tyreek Hill, like a Kelsey going forward in the future. But to just flat out say you're going to replace him, like, come on. Noah Gray's been solid. He has done some good things. Can he replace Kelsey given the full load? I don't know, but nobody can. You're talking about right now, honestly, I've got him as number 1. Tell me a tight end that you're putting above Kelsey all time.
I'll put multiple tight ends above Kelsey as a tight end. I think Kelsey's more of a wide receiver than he is a tight end. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nope. I don't want to hear that blocking shit. I don't want to hear anything about that blocking shit.
I'm sorry, man. He does zero in any of that, and they don't make him, and that's fine. And I wouldn't make him either. I'm just saying.
They don't make him, so how do you know he can't? That's my point, Pinky. He's not asked to, so he doesn't have to show it. Well, name another tight end in the history of the league that is a more dangerous weapon.
Well, they don't play him at tight end, so he's a wide receiver. They literally flank him out almost every play.
If you want to bring blocking into this, and that is going to be your end-all, be-all, fine. I can give you somebody else.
It's not my end-all, be-all.
There's just not. He's not asked to, so you don't know if he's good or bad.
When you traditionally talk about tight ends, that's part of the requirement. Again, he's not forced to do it, so we don't know that he can't, but he doesn't.
Okay, so then take that out of the conversation, and let's talk about what he does do. Is there anybody in the history of the league that has done it better?
It's so hard to say, man. Nobody's had Mahomes at quarterback, so
I don't want to hear that shit. According to you, Shannon Sharp had the best quarterback to ever play. Shannon doesn't have these kinds of numbers.
Well,
now, different time, different game. I get all of that. So I'm a big Shannon Sharp guy. He's my number 2, actually.
If they don't run the football 40 times a game like we did back in the day, Sharp probably has more numbers when it comes to catches and yards.
I'll agree. I'll fully agree with you. Sharp is number 2 for me. But I cannot sit here and ignore everybody knows Travis Kelce's going to get the ball, and yet every game somehow this dude walks away with 101.
I mean, Gronk was the same way, and Gronk blocked too. Gronk was unstoppable, and he's slower than Kelce.
I love Gronk. Gronk's in my top 5. He's probably number 3, actually. But I never saw Gronk as being as dangerous as Kelce is. I didn't.
So here's
Kelce
the thing.
Can do everything Gronk does, but better.
Well, hold on. When I watch Chiefs games, and I watch a lot of them, Kelce's primarily wide open. And again, he's schemed that way. Gronk had guys on him, like literally. Like again, I think it's picking hairs when you talk about.
Yeah, it's going to be what you like, but I don't think Kelce. Look at all these. Look at all these division fans coming up in here talking about Kelce not being the best.
I don't see Kelce push-offs because by the time he catches the ball, he's wide open. So
look, here's the deal. Everybody knows it's coming, and he still puts up the numbers. Gronk did not do that. Now, more often than not, Gronk showed out, but Gronk did not do that. He did not do that the way Kelce's doing
out, bro.
Dude, when it's all said and done, Kelce is going to destroy all of Gronk's records.
We haven't gotten together in a while, so we got to get together, and let's put on a Gronk highlight tape and a Kelce highlight tape. I guarantee you the majority of Kelce highlights, when he catches the ball, there's nobody on him.
But that's because he's so incredible at route running. Gronk couldn't run a route for shit. Let's be honest. Gronk could not run a route for shit. And that's nothing against him. He ran the routes. Gronk's just not he's not agile. He's not shifty. He's not quick or speedy. Gronk's going to lumber in and lumber out. He's going to box some dude out. Brady's going to get him the ball. And then Gronk's going to take on a bunch of dudes and carry him down the field on his back. You say Kelce was schemed open, and that's fine. Andy Reid is a genius. But at the same time, you go watch Travis Kelce run a route, that dude is meticulous. That dude runs routes to get himself open.
I'm more talking about Kelsey as one of the top wide receivers of all time. To me, I don't even consider him a tight end. I don't.
I think that's foolish. I think it's foolish to say he's not asked to do something, so then you discount it because of that. I think Kelsey could block with the best of them if he is asked to. I fully believe that. His brother is an offensive lineman and one of the best offensive linemen to ever do it, in my opinion. To say Kelsey couldn't be a good blocker or isn't a good blocker, I personally think that's just foolish. I think he's just not asked to. And so because of that, he goes out there and busts people's asses in routes. That's my take. But I get it. You want to throw Gronk up there. You want to throw Gonzalez up there. You want to throw Kellen Winslow up there. You want to throw Shannon Sharp up there. I'm not arguing with any of those.
Bro, what would Gonzalez have done if he had Mahomes throwing him the ball?
Oh, it'd be nasty. I agree with you. It'd be nasty. It would be really, really nasty. Same with Shannon Sharp. You play Shannon Sharp with somebody. You put Shannon Sharp in today's NFL, and I probably have him as the best tight end of all time. Hands down. I believe that. But I'm going on based on what I see, where they were at, what they did during the game. I think Travis Kelce is underrated. I truly do. And that's crazy to say because the dude's a beast and everybody's game plan.
If we add blocking into the credentials of what a tight end is, Gronkowski's the best.
Man, I'm just still not. I'm not doing it. But you know me. I'm not going to go there and talk about the typical BS that the square peg round hole NFL forces you to discuss. Is he listed as a tight end? Cool. Then let's talk about what he's done as a tight end. I don't care if he's blocked or not.
I see him as the number one wide receiver in Kansas City, and he's awesome. I don't see him as a tight end myself. And I would still put him up there as one of the top wide receivers of all time. I would.
Cheers, my guy. Cheers.
He does what a wide receiver is supposed to do. Again, that's why he has a great coach and he has a Hall of Fame quarterback, right? And he's a Hall of Fame player too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can split hairs again.
And let's be honest.
That's what happens when you start doing lists. You start ranking guys.
I'll take Sharp. I'll probably take Sharp, Gonzalez, and Gronk above Kelsey as a tight end. As a receiving weapon, now we might say Kelsey might be the better of all of them. But as a tight end, I would probably put those other three above him.
All right. Pinky, give me your final thoughts.
Draft season. We have some time to do some lists. We'll have to talk a little more hockey. We'll have to get Cody on. We'll have to talk some basketball.
Basketball? Excuse you, good sir.
I've been betting more basketball, so I am getting interested.
I'm bringing them along, ladies and gentlemen, slowly but surely.
Unfortunately, I think I'm going to lose two of my bets tonight because I bet I had a bet on the Raptors and Magic, and I just needed Fred VanVleet to get 15 points. He got 10.
Pinky, we gotta start talking a little more. I need you to get that tattoo, and I need you to be a little more diligent with these bets.
I cashed out 500.
All right.
So I think the tattoo's happening.
Good. That's what I want to hear. And
because I got most of it.
If you want to donate to the Caleb Tattoo Fund, I've got all my ideas lined up. I just need some funds to do it. So by all means, throw them our way. I
promised the show last year.
He did.
If the Jayhawks won the title, I'd go get the tattoo. I just haven't had that extra. I got some quotes, 600-700. So
we were
because of the size and the color.
Sitting in my basement, Zach and I were about 2 minutes away from being really happy, and then shit went downhill quickly. And Pinky got his tattoo.
Jayhawks down 16 points at halftime, bro.
Oh, that was
I was sitting there at the bar going, man, you know what? Jayhawks broke my heart again. I don't have to get a tattoo. I am good.
We definitely loaded you up on some shots at halftime last year. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, dude, I was just like, man, this is over. We are done.
That was rough. That was rough. God, another great NFL season in the books. You want to know what sports to watch? You come talk to your boy. We got XFL, we got USFL, we got NBA, we got college basketball. There's plenty of stuff to still watch, people. Plenty of stuff. Come talk to your boy. I'll hook you up. We'll be fine.
College basketball, 2 more weeks. We're going to be right in the thick of things. Hockey's past the All-Star break. NBA's All-Stars coming up soon. So we're going to be heading down the home stretch, man. And then going to have baseball starting soon. I mean, I guess
we will mention as it started, and then we probably won't talk about it again unless something crazy happens because
hey, man.
I've been told by baseball people that I'm not allowed to talk about baseball.
The minor leagues are trying out that automated umpire.
Dude, Pinky, don't say it out loud, or you're gonna be with me. You don't want to be with me when it comes to baseball, people.
I'm with you, bro. I don't see why we don't have an automated umpire. We know what the strike zone is. Why do we need a guy behind the plate with glasses trying to tell me whether it's a ball or a strike?
Is there a subjective thing when it comes to outs? Because I was pretty sure that was an objective situation with baseball. Let's not do this now. Let's not do this. We got plenty of offseason for me to go down my baseball rabbit hole. And for Pinky to egg me on and bring it out even more. But we're going to have a fun next couple of months here. Stick with us because obviously we'll talk a lot of basketball. But like Pinky said, we got the draft coming up. Pinky and I do our own drafts. We love doing the dissection and evaluation of players. We'll get Andy on, I assume. We'll run through some mock drafts and we'll evaluate some talent.
Andy's kind of our draft guy.
Andy and I love college football, so it's fun to chop shop with Andy, and he knows what's going on.
Andy is so sick that he literally will, like, when he plays Madden, he literally uploads any of the current guys into Madden that are from college into Madden to get them on his team. He'll trade away actual Chiefs players to get these rookies on his team. Yeah,
Andy and I are kindred spirits when it comes to this stuff. Pinky loves draft season, so he gets big into learning up and buffering up his knowledge of the players. He doesn't know anything about college, and as far as Pinky's concerned, college don't mean shit when you're about to become an NFL player. So don't bring up college stats with Pinky, as I've learned. And I still do it, but don't do it.
I just said that the phrase "he was good in college" doesn't really always translate to the pros.
There's correlation, but we're not going down that road right now either, Pinky. We're not doing it. So stick with us. If you're new to us, if you've just found us, if you're old and true and stuck with us all these years, guys, we love getting topics. We love the interaction. Richie, love getting you on tonight. Appreciate it.
He was on fire. He was on fire tonight.
Raider, we didn't get a chance to talk much. We had Bubba on earlier. Guys, we love the interaction. We love talking with
I love the Raiders.
You want to call yourselves that?
I love the Raiders because they hired McDouche and he's making them a shitty team.
Yeah. So by all means, if you want to interact with us, if you want to talk with us, if you've got some ideas for topics, conversations, you want to be part of the conversations, let us know. We love ideas. And on that note, it is, I didn't say it earlier, but it's the V-Day. It's the Valentine's Day. How do we end every show, Pinky?
Hey, man, go give some love to your loved ones. Text your friends, man. If you haven't texted a buddy in a while, text them up. Say what's going on. Check in on them. You never know. Sometimes somebody just needs some encouragement or some positivity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Those people you consider your inner circle, your friends, family, loved ones, however they got there, however they came to be part of that inner circle, cherish those moments with them, take advantage of them, spend that quality time with them. That's what we love to do. That's how me and this big guy got together. He's part of my inner circle. So cheers to my guy. As always, we love it. We'll see you guys next week. We're out. Peace.
Get it, fellas.